Hello, everyone. I'm your host, Ryan. Welcome back to Speak Up. Whether you're walking to work, doing the dishes, or just relaxing with your headphones on, thank you for spending time with us. This show is all about helping you improve your English in real life, step by step, without stress. Today, we're diving into something we all struggle with: staying consistent. Sound familiar?
Hey friends, I'm Priya, and yes, consistency can be tricky, especially when life gets busy. One day you're full of motivation, and the next, English practice just slips away. We totally get it. That's why we're here to share real, practical tips that work for everyday people like you and us.
Exactly. You don't need fancy courses or hours of free time. What you really need is a simple system that fits into your life and some encouragement along the way. We'll keep things honest, relatable, and fun, just like always. So grab a cup of chai or coffee and let's get started with how to stay consistent in learning English. This might just change how you look at English forever. So we've just talked about how this episode is all about staying consistent in learning English. Now let's dig into something that surprises a lot of people. Consistency is actually more powerful than intensity. Think about it like this. Brushing your teeth once a week for an hour won't help much, but doing it every day for just 2 minutes, that keeps your teeth healthy. It's the same with daily English learning. You don't need to study for hours on the weekend. You just need a little every single day.
Exactly, Ryan. That's such a simple but powerful idea. People often think they need to study for 2 hours to make real progress, but then they skip days, lose motivation, and feel guilty. That creates a cycle where they stop completely. Instead, try just 10 or 15 minutes of consistent English practice each day. Read a paragraph, watch a short video, or speak one sentence. Those tiny steps build up like compound interest in a bank account.
Yes, and let's be honest, our lives are busy. Work, family, responsibilities. So instead of waiting for a perfect time to do a long English session, find small moments, like during your lunch break, while commuting, or even while doing chores. Think of it like exercising. If you go to the gym once and do an intense 3-hour workout, you'll be sore and tired. But if you move your body daily, even for 15 minutes, it becomes a habit. And that's how real results show up.
That's a great example, and it's not about being perfect, it's about being regular. Even native speakers don't learn everything in one go, right? It takes years of exposure. So if you're learning English, daily English learning gives your brain regular practice. It keeps your ears and mouth connected to the language. Missing one day isn't the end, but staying off for a week or two, that's when it starts to slip.
I totally agree. I always tell people, don't aim to be a superhero learner. Aim to be a steady one. Because when you do too much at once, you burn out. And when that happens, you start associating English with pressure. But when you practice in small, fun ways each day, you start to enjoy it. It becomes part of your routine, like morning coffee or evening walks.
So true. If you think about it, we already do so many small habits every day without even realizing. Checking our phones, scrolling social media, making tea. What if just one of those moments became a small window for consistent English practice? That's the power of consistency. And the best part? It doesn't feel like studying, it feels like living with English.
Let's get into something really important now. Setting a routine that works for you. Not some perfect plan from a textbook, but a schedule that fits your actual life. If you're working all day or taking care of your family, it's unrealistic to study English for an hour straight. That's why you need an English learning routine that feels natural. Think about your day. When do you have small pockets of time? Maybe early in the morning, during your lunch break, or just before bed.
Yes, and it's not about how long you study. It's about how often. A lot of people think, if I don't have 30 minutes, I won't do anything. But you know what? Even 15 minutes of study daily can make a big difference. The goal is to make English a small part of your everyday rhythm, like brushing your teeth or checking WhatsApp. Once it becomes a habit, it doesn't feel like a chore. It feels like a normal part of your day.
Exactly. I always suggest choosing a fixed time that's easy to stick to. For example, right after breakfast or right before sleep. One of my students listens to a short English podcast every morning while making tea. That's it. But because he does it every single day, his listening and vocabulary have improved a lot. That's the power of routine. It's quiet but steady.
I love that example. And remember, your routine should match your lifestyle, not someone else's. If you're more focused at night, study then. If mornings are calmer, use that time. You don't need a strict plan. You need a realistic one. That's how you'll stay consistent. Even writing one sentence a day or repeating 5 words aloud can become a valuable part of your English learning routine.
Right, and don't forget to mix it up to keep things interesting. One day, read a short article. Another day, speak aloud to yourself. The key is to keep showing up even if it's just for a few minutes. That daily effort is what builds long-term fluency. And the best part? It fits into your life without needing major changes.
That's the magic, really. We often think we need to change our whole life to become fluent. But no, you just need to study English daily in a way that works for you. Keep it light, keep it regular, and you'll be amazed at how far you can go over time.
All right, now let's talk about something super practical: habit stacking. It's one of the easiest ways to build new habits without stress. The idea is simple. You connect a new habit, like learning English, to something you already do every day. For example, after I drink my tea, I'll watch 5 minutes of an English video. Or after brushing my teeth, I'll say one English sentence aloud. When you link your learning to a regular action, it becomes automatic.
That's such a smart way to build English habits. Because let's be honest, starting from zero is tough. But if you attach your practice to something that already happens, like checking your phone in the morning or eating lunch, it doesn't feel like a big task. It becomes part of your flow. One of my students always listens to an English podcast while doing the dishes. Now, he doesn't even think about it. It's just part of his routine.
Exactly. And to make it even easier, try using a small trigger, like a reminder or app notification. Apps like Duolingo or Notion can send a gentle nudge at your chosen time. Or you can simply set a daily phone alarm that says, "Time for 5 minutes of English." It doesn't need to be loud or stressful. The goal is to learn English without pressure, not turn it into another chore.
Right. Pressure is the enemy of consistency. When things feel heavy, we avoid them. But when your English practice is short and tied to a familiar habit, you're more likely to do it. Even repeating one new word after your morning coffee adds up. And over time, your brain starts expecting it. That's how real habits are built, quietly with small steps.
It's honestly kind of fun once you get into it. You can even personalize your stack. Like, after I close my laptop for the day, I'll write one English sentence about how I feel. Or after dinner, I'll watch one English YouTube short. These little moves turn your daily life into a language learning playground.
Yes. So if you're listening right now, think about what you already do every day. Pick one of those habits and attach a tiny bit of English practice to it. That's how you build English habits that stick. And you do it all without pressure or guilt. Just one small action over and over again.
Okay, now let's be real for a second. If learning English feels boring, you won't stick with it. That's why it's so important to find fun ways to learn English. Learning doesn't have to mean sitting with a textbook. You can watch English movies, listen to podcasts, sing along to songs, or even read light novels or comic books. The trick is to make it feel less like school and more like entertainment.
I totally agree. One of my students told me she improved her vocabulary just by watching Friends every night. She said it didn't feel like studying at all. And that's the point. It was enjoyable English practice. She laughed, picked up natural expressions, and started using them in real life. That's how powerful fun learning can be. You remember more when you're relaxed and enjoying yourself.
Absolutely. I know a guy who learned English mostly by listening to English music and reading the lyrics. He would replay songs, pause, and try to sing along. Over time, his pronunciation got better and he picked up tons of new phrases. It's such a cool way to learn. No pressure, just pure fun. The more you enjoy it, the more you'll do it.
And it works for all levels. Even beginners can enjoy simple cartoons or easy English storybooks. Don't worry about understanding every single word. Just try to catch the mood, the main message, and slowly your brain gets used to the sound and rhythm of the language. That's what makes it an enjoyable English practice. It doesn't feel like hard work.
That's key. Don't force it. If you love comedy, watch funny English clips. If you like drama, go for that. If you're into music, pick a genre you love and dive into English songs. The goal is to mix English into things you already enjoy. That way, you'll look forward to learning instead of dreading it.
Exactly. So if English has started to feel boring or heavy for you, shake things up. Try something new this week. Watch a sitcom, read a comic, or follow an English-speaking YouTuber you actually like. These are all fun ways to learn English that keep your mind active without feeling tired. Learning should feel exciting, not exhausting.
Let's talk about something most learners forget: tracking your progress. When you only focus on what you don't know, it's easy to feel stuck. But if you stop and look back at what you've already achieved, even the small stuff, you'll feel proud. That's where real English learning motivation comes from. Progress builds confidence, and confidence keeps you consistent. It's a loop that works in your favor.
Absolutely. One simple way to track English progress is to keep a small notebook or journal. Just write down what you learned each day, a new word, a phrase you heard, or a sentence you spoke. It doesn't have to be perfect or long. Even a short checklist can work. Over time, when you flip through those pages, you'll see how far you've come. And trust me, it feels amazing.
I love that idea. Some people even use sticky notes on the wall or a habit tracker in their planner. And if you prefer digital tools, apps like Duolingo, Notion, or even Google Calendar can help. You can set goals, check them off, and get little reminders of your success. These tools give your brain a reward every time you make progress, and that's great for long-term English learning motivation.
Right. And don't wait for a big milestone to celebrate. Celebrate the small wins. Maybe today you understood an English joke or said thank you without thinking. That's progress. Reward yourself with a little treat, a break, or just smile and say, I'm getting better. That positive energy builds the habit, and it keeps your motivation strong, even on slow days.
It's like building a staircase. Each step is small, but it takes you higher. And when you celebrate the climb, you want to keep going. So make it a habit to write down or say what you achieved each day. Over a month, you'll be shocked at how much you've done, especially when you thought you weren't improving.
So if you're listening now, take a moment after this episode and write down one English win from today. Maybe you listened without subtitles, maybe you learned a phrase from us, or maybe you just showed up. That counts. That's how you track English progress and stay inspired. You're doing better than you think.
Now, here's something that can seriously boost your consistency: accountability. Let's be honest, it's easy to skip your English practice when no one's watching. But if someone's learning with you or checking in weekly, it's harder to quit. That's why finding an English speaking partner or joining a small learning group can make a huge difference. It turns your solo journey into a team effort.
Definitely. And the support doesn't need to be big or formal. You can start with a friend who's also learning English. Send each other one sentence every day on WhatsApp, or record short voice messages in English. These mini challenges keep things light and fun, but they also keep you accountable. Being part of an English learning support group gives you energy, especially when you're feeling lazy or stuck.
Exactly. You can even join a Telegram or WhatsApp group where people share quick tips, ask questions, or just practice together. Some learners I know do a one English sentence a day challenge with their friends. And the cool thing is, when others are showing up every day, you feel inspired to do the same. That's the power of social support and learning. It keeps you moving forward even on tough days.
And don't underestimate the power of weekly check-ins. Just having a quick 5-minute call or chat every Sunday with a friend to say, here's what I practiced, can really keep you on track. It doesn't have to be perfect, just regular. If you miss a day, your partner can remind you gently and help you stay consistent. We all need that extra nudge sometimes.
That's so true. Learning alone can sometimes feel slow or boring, but when you have someone to laugh with or even compete with in a friendly way, it becomes more exciting. Your English-speaking partner becomes part of your progress, and when you both grow together, it feels way more rewarding.
So if you're listening and you're trying to stay consistent, don't do it all alone. Find one person or join one English learning support group. It could be online or someone from your neighborhood. Create a small challenge like one voice message per day. Simple, fun, and powerful. That's how you keep going even when motivation drops.
Finally, let's talk about flipping your mindset. This one's powerful. Most people say, I want to learn English, but that keeps you stuck in student mode. A better way to think is, I am someone who learns English, or I'm becoming an English speaker. That small shift creates a huge change. It's called an English mindset shift. You stop seeing English as a subject and start seeing it as part of who you are.
Yes. When you say, I'm an English speaker, you make it part of your identity. Even if your English isn't perfect, you start acting like a speaker. You make time for English, you listen more, you speak more, because that's who you are now. You're not chasing a far-off goal anymore. You're living the identity, and that's what helps people stay consistent for years, not just weeks.
Exactly. Think about it. A runner runs, a reader reads. So an English speaker speaks, listens, thinks in English. You don't need a certificate to claim the identity. You grow into it by showing up daily. That's why this English mindset shift is so important. You start making decisions like an English speaker. You say, how would I say this in English? Or let me listen to that in English first.
And when that identity clicks, you stop feeling pressure. You don't need motivation every day because now it's just part of your life. You become curious, confident, and more relaxed. That's what it means to become an English speaker. It's not about perfection, it's about persistence. You believe in the new version of you, and that belief keeps you moving forward.
So before we wrap up, take a moment to say it out loud. I'm learning English because I am an English speaker. Feel the shift. You're not just trying, you're becoming. That's a mindset that lasts. Trust me, this one change will help you stay consistent longer than any app, book, or class ever could.
And with that, we want to say thank you for spending time with us today. Whether you listened on your way to work, during a walk, or while cooking, we're so glad you chose to grow with us. Keep believing in yourself, and remember, every small step you take means you're already on the path to fluency.
We hope today's episode gave you real value and motivation to keep going. If you enjoyed it, don't forget to share this podcast with your friends or learning buddies. And of course, keep tuning in to Speak Up for more practical tips to help you become the confident English speaker you're meant to be.
Take care, keep learning, and as always, speak up. See you next time.